Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Abraham Ayash, State Representative for the Ninth House District, which includes portions of Detroit and the city of Hamtramck. I also have the honor of serving as Majority Floor Leader in the Michigan House. Incredibly excited today to roll out the Clean Energy and Jobs Act, House Bills 5120 to 5123. And we are going to be very brief because we have session, and I'm hoping committee rather, and I'm hoping that all the questions that you might have today will be addressed in committee. So, what is the purpose of the Clean Energy and Jobs Act? We really have three principal goals with this legislation. Number one, we want to create opportunities for communities in our state, creating high wage union jobs and building Michigan as a leader in the green energy space. Number two, we want to build a future-proof and sustainable economy and making sure that our state will have the reliable energy source for generations to come. And we know that no matter your politics, the science and industry experts all agree that the future of energy production in Michigan and in America must come from renewable sources. What does that mean? That means that we invest in wind and solar projects and that we make sure that we are storing that energy once we're able to grab it from Mother Earth. So, with that, I just want to highlight a couple points. Number one, we are working closely with local communities as well as our labor friends to make sure that as we make this transition towards a green economy, we are considerate of all the concerns of those respective stakeholders. Additionally, we are emphasizing the goal that in order for Michigan to achieve our My Healthy Climate Plan, in order for Michigan to diversify our footprint and our portfolio around energy, we have to focus on reducing our carbon reduction, reducing our carbon output, and maintaining our carbon reduction goals. So with that, I'll pass it along to my colleague, Representative Ranjiv Puri, to further talk more about this legislation.
Thank you, Floor Leader Ayash. It's an honor to be on this package with you again. My name is Ranjiv Puri, representing the 24th House District, and I also serve as the Majority Whip. Now, the Clean Energy and Jobs Act is substantial legislation that will be impactful for the Michigan of today, but equally important, the Michigan of tomorrow. I want to focus my comments on the variety of economic benefits that this legislation will provide for communities all across our state. See, paving a path for the clean energy transition is good for business, it's good for our economy, but more importantly, it also levels up our regulatory landscape to be on par with peer states, to make sure that we are competing for the economy of tomorrow and the industry of tomorrow. Medium and large-scale solar projects will open up good-paying union jobs all across our state. Plus, these jobs are going to make Michigan more attractive of a place to build, to grow, and to live, which will in turn help us retain the talent we have and attract new talent. And there's so just tremendous amount of potential for this legislation. But I also want to spend some time focusing on farmers and landowners. See, for farmers, this legislation could be life-changing because this has the potential to open up another steady and stable stream of income to be able to keep those family farms in the family, just as they have for generations. And for landowners, they should be able to do more with their land. Unfortunately, farmers and landowners across the state are oftentimes held hostage by restrictive ordinances that really tie their hands on what they're able to do with that land. And so I just think it makes more sense for them to have opportunity to be able to explore the potential of putting solar on the land that they already own. But what's also important to this is understanding that diversifying our portfolio of energy generation and ensuring that energy is homegrown right here in Michigan will help with affordability issues, will help with the reliability issues, and help solve another set of problems that our state is facing. And so, as we look to modernizing Michigan and preparing Michigan for the economy of tomorrow, the benefits I've talked to are not just simply advantages that Michigan can capture. These are crucial and imperative steps that we must take if we are serious about competing for the economy of tomorrow. So with that, I'm excited about the potential of this legislation, what this could mean for Michigan as we transition and set our goals for renewable and clean energies. Those are not possible without the enabling legislation that is in this package. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to my esteemed colleague, Representative Skaggs.
Well, I'm the junior representative up here, Phil Skaggs, House District 80. Want to thank Representative Puri and Floor Leader Ayash. I think we've put together a very strong package together. I'm not going to be able to speak quite as eloquently as they have, so I'll be reading a little bit more from my notes. Yes, indeed, this legislation opens up all sorts of opportunities and economic benefits. On top of that, the policy is geared to making the process easier and less complicated for farmers and communities alike. Our bills set up a common sense process where a willing property owner and a renewable energy developer have a streamlined process to move from private agreements to public permitting to construction and to electricity generation. At a time when we continue to see the negative effects of climate change, including on agriculture, with harder storms than in the past and more heat. It is imperative that we can ensure that we are building clean, renewable energy right here in Michigan. Because in many ways, this is what this bill package is about. Michigan energy for Michiganders. Not imported energy from other states or abroad. I don't know if the sun or wind are Michiganders. I'd like to think that when they get here, they are. And that's where we're going to be generating this electricity, right here in Michigan. Cutting bureaucratic red tape means that farmers can do better and do what they want to do with their own land. This legislation opens more avenues for Michiganders by allowing them to go through local boards or to the Public Service Commission. This expanded option can enable them to build more renewable projects, because that's what we're going to need to do to meet the goals that the governor has laid out for us. Making the process to build renewable energy, whether that be solar, wind, or storage, more simple and painless means that Michigan can move more smoothly and successfully to be a leader in energy independence, in a greener future, and in providing benefits to communities in smart ways. It gives us more reliable energy for the electric vehicle future and for the increasing use of electricity in our homes and in our businesses. So we should not be building barriers for the very people who want to help make our energy stronger and greener. Simply put, this legislation encourages the elimination of unnecessary bureaucratic roadblocks so that Michiganders have opportunity to use the land that they own in the way that they choose to generate more renewable energy. And with that, I will pass it back to Floor Leader Ayash.
Take some brief questions. I encourage everybody to attend committee if you want more technical aspects. Yes.
Hi, Kelly Keller. It was mentioned that people would have the option to go through local boards. Can you clarify sort of the pathways there and who decides who makes that choice?
Both. So in this situation, in the legislation that we proposed, the standard process would be under the Public Service Commission. But if a developer and a landowner opt to go through the local government, should they have a process in place, then they're welcomed to actually utilize that for communities that have developed a process. The reality is, though, with nearly 1,800 cities, townships, and villages, it's not likely that every single community has a process in place. And we want to make sure that if there isn't one in place, that the state can then help streamline the process. Because in order for us to actually meet our energy future goals, then we have to deploy out renewables as quickly and as efficiently as possible, while considering all the concerns of communities. And we think that this legislation will do that. I live in a city with over nearly 40,000 people in 2 square miles, so I don't have the space for that. But I don't know if Representative Puri or Skaggs may have.
Usually I'm
experience.
confused with you, but you have
No, go ahead.
No, usually I fortunately am living in a district that is kind of bucking the trend of Michigan and is growing very rapidly, and so we are also becoming extremely dense and don't foresee some of these projects in our district either.
Yeah, my district is also urban and suburban, but let's just be clear, this is not about our districts. This is a law for all of Michigan, and it's extraordinarily important that we put this into place so that we can meet the goals that we have before us, so that we can improve the planet, so that we can have better jobs. And that's regardless of where in Michigan the three of us happen to be from.
I'd refer to each individual member to speak about their concerns around their community, but I will say there's widespread support for this legislation.
Addressing the community side of things, I think that we're working with communities, obviously, this has been on rural solar design.
Sure.
What role have you played in kind of finding legislation for these
Yeah, I've held multiple meetings with Michigan Township Association, the Association of Counties, the Municipal League. I think I've collectively met with them more than I have any other stakeholder in this process, and we're going to continue to have conversations. Right, we do anticipate there will be some amendments to the legislation. I will say what we've put forward in terms of a community benefits program that was outlined in the legislation is great. Happy to explore things as I've proposed to my local friends around host agreements and things of that nature. So we are excited about the opportunity, and we've made it clear that this is about making sure that Michigan can be a place that's habitable, that we are bringing energy from our own community through the sun and the wind, and not having to import things like natural gas and coal and things of that nature.
If I could just add to that a bit, I would just also suggest that the state has taken a significant role in making sure that our local communities have the ability to site, to permit, and to construct this process. In the last budget, there was $30 million in the Renewable Ready Communities program to give technical assistance to locals to put a process into place. And we believe that this bill will further encourage the development of significant, strong, and prudent, thoughtful local ordinances for when the landowner and developer want to work through the local process. So we think that the state will continue to work arm in arm, hand in hand with locals to make sure that this is a system that works.
Final question, and then we got to head to committee.
You talked a little bit about the engagement in the state. Do you anticipate that the government can participate?
We'll find out in 15 minutes.